Well, hey there, I am not a native speaker. Today I will read chapter 2, Fluent Forever, How to Learn Any Language Fast and Never Forget It. Upload 5 Principles to End Forgetting. A man's real possession is his memory. In nothing else is he rich. In nothing else is he poor. Alexander Smith. A scene from The Matrix. Warner Brothers Pictures. 1999. Tank smiles as he sits down in his operator's chair, flipping through several discs. He picks one and put it into his computer. Neo looks at the screen. Neo. Shishitsu. I'm going to learn Shishitsu. Smiling, Tank presses the load bottom. Neo's body jumps against the harness as his edges clamped shut. The monitors kick wildly as his heart pounds, adrenaline surged, and his brain sizzles. An instant later, his eyes snap open. Holy shit, says Neo. Tank grins. While we can't yet upload Shishitsu directly into our brains, we do have technology that can help us learn faster. This technology derives its power from 5 principles of memory. Make memories more memorable. Maximize liveness. Don't review, recall. Wait, don't tell me. And rewrite the past. So these are the 5 principles of memory according to this book. The first one, make memories more memorable. The second one, maximize liveness. The third one, don't review, recall. The fourth one, wait, don't tell me. And the fifth, it's rewrite the past. So these principles will enable you to remember more in less time. Combined, they form a system that can insert thousands of words and grammar rules so deeply into your mind that you will be able to recall them instantly. Most attractively, this system can take what little spare time you have and steadily turn it into a usable foreign language. Principle 1. Make memories more memorable. Any fact becomes important when it's connected to another. Umberto Eco. Foucault's pendulum. To learn to remember, we must learn about the nature and location of memory. Scientists working in the 40s and 50s began their search for memory in the most obvious place, within the calls of our brains, our neurons. They cut out parts of the rat's brains, trying to make them forget a maze, and found that it didn't matter what part of the brain they choose. The rats never forgot. In 1950, the researchers gave up, including that they had most definitely searched everywhere, and that memory must be somewhere else. Researchers eventually turned their search for memories to the wiring between neurons rather than within the cells themselves. Each of the 100 billion neurons neurons in our brains are on average connected to 7,000 other neurons in a dense web of more than 150,000 kilometers of nerve fibers. These interconnected webs are intricately involved in our memories, which is why scientists could never find the mazes in the rats. Each rat's maze was spread throughout its brain. Whenever the scientists cut out a piece, they damaged only a small portion of the involved connections. The more they removed, the longer it took the rats to remember. But they never forgot their masses completely. The only way to remove the maze entirely was to remove the rat entirely. These patterns of connections form in an elegantly simple mechanical process. Neurons that fire together wire together, known as Webb's law. The principle helps explain how we remember anything. Take my first memory of cookies. I spent 10 minutes waiting in front of the oven, bathed in radiating heat and essence of butter, flour, and sugar. I waited until they came out of the oven and watched the steam rise up off of them as they cooled. When I could bear no more, my father gave me a glass of milk. I grabbed the cookie and learned empathy for my poor blue friend from Sesame Street. My neural network for cookies involved sight, smell, and taste. There are audio components, the sound of the word cookie and the sound of milk pouring into a glass. I remember my dad's face smiling as he bit into his own delicious cookie. This first cookie experience was a parade of sensations which weaved together into a tight web of neural connections. These connections enable me to return to my past whenever I encounter a new cookie. Faced with a familiar buttery scent, that old web of neurons reactivates, my brain plays back the same sight, sounds, motions, and tastes, and I relive my childhood experience. Compare this experience to a new one. You're currently forming memory of the word Nhodur. I think I don't know. I'm not sure. Um, Icelandic. I don't know. I'm not sure, guys. There's not much of a parade here. It's not obvious how to pronounce it, and in a particularly unnocious move. I'm not even telling you what it means. As a result, you are stuck looking at the structure of the word. It has two forget letters sandwiched between four familiar ones and not much else. Without Herculean efforts, you will forget encoder. I don't know how to pronounce it. By the end of this chapter, if not sooner. So yeah, to associate different ideas and associate a word or a phrase with experience, emotion, flavor. I don't know, taste, emotions. I don't know, a scene. Not just a picture, but something else, something you will remember, of course. Levels of processing. The great mnemonic filter. The divide of separates your new Hodur from my cookie is known as levels of processing, and it separates the memorable from the forgettable. My cookie is memorable because it contains so many connections. I can access cookie in 1,000 different ways, right? I will remember cookies if I read about them, hear about them, see them, smell them, or taste them. The word is unforgettable. We need to make your Hodur just as unforgettable, and we will do it by adding four types of connections: structure, sound, concept, and personal connection. So there are four levels of processing. They were identified in the 70s by psychologists who created a curious questionnaire with four types of questions and gave it to college students. So, structure, the first place. How many capital letters are in the word beer? Um, so, bear, bear. Bear. Sound. Does apple rhyme with snaple? Concept is tool, another word for instrument. Personal connection. Do you like pizza? After the questionnaire, they gave the students a surprise memory test asking which words from the test they still remembered. Their memories were dramatically influenced by the question types. Students remembered 6 pizzas for every bear, and the the magic of these questions lies in a particular mental trick. To count the capital letters in B, E, A, R, you don't need to think about brown furry animals. So you don't. You have activated the shallowest level of processing structure and move on. On the other hand, you activate regions throughout your brain to determine whether you like pizza. You automatically utilize structure to figure out what word you are looking at. At the same time, you'll tend to hear the word pizza echoing within your skull as you imagine a hot disk of cheesy hot goodness. Finally, you will access memories of pizzas past to determine whether you enjoy pizza or just haven't met the right one yet. In a fraction of a second, a simple question, "Do you like pizza?" can simultaneously activate all four levels of processing. Yeah, these four levels will wire together, and form a robust memory that is 6 times easier to remember than that bird that you have already forgotten. The four levels of processing are more than a biological quirk. They act as a filter protecting us from information overload. We live in a sea of information, surrounded by a dizing amount of input from TV, internet, books, social interactions, and the events of our lives. Your brain uses levels of processing to judge which input is important and which should be thrown out. You don't want to be thinking about the number of letters in the word tiger. When one is chasing after you, nor do you want to be assaulted by vivid memories of cows when you buy milk, for example. To keep you sane, your brain constantly works at the shallowest level of processing needed to get the job done. At the grocery store, you are simply looking for the words chocolate milk, or perhaps even organic, wholesome, happy cow chocolate milk. This is a pattern matching, and your brain uses a structure to quickly weed through hundreds or thousands of ingredient lists and food labels. Thankfully, you forget nearly every one of these lists and labels by the time you reach your milk. If you didn't, your encyclopedic knowledge of supermarket brand names would make you a terrible bore at parties. In more stimulating circumstances, such as that tiger in a hot pursuit, your brain has a vested interest in memory. In such a case, should you survive, you likely remember not to climb into the tiger enclosure at the zoo. In this way, levels of processing act as our great mental filter, keeping us alive and tolerable at parties. This filter is one of the reasons why forgetting words are difficult to remember. Your brain is just doing its job. How should it know that you want to remember Khodur, but not disodium phosphate and emulsifier in your chocolate milk? So yeah, that's a question, right? How to associate, how to remember. Yeah, it's very interesting. So, how to remember a foreign word forever? To create a robust memory for a word like mhodur, you need all four levels of processing. The shallowest level structure allows you to recognize patterns of letters and determine whether a word is long, short, or written in English or in Japanese. Your brain is recognizing structure when you unscramble author into doctor. Okay, yeah, the same letters but in different order. Um, this level is essential for reading, but it involves too little of your brain to contribute much to memory. Almost none of the students in the levels of processing study remembered counting the capital letters in beer. Words like mhodur, or however it is pronounced, because I don't know, are difficult to remember because you can't get any deeper than structures until you know how to deal with odd letters like O and uh, yeah, I don't know how I don't know the difference, guys. Okay, but I get it. I get the concept. Okay, your first task is in language learning is to reach the next level, sound. Sound connects structure to your ears and your mouth and allows you to speak. You'll start by learning the sounds of your language and which letters make those sounds. Because if you begin with sound, you will have a much easier time remembering words. That's right, I mean, I am not sure, but it works for me. The sound is always important to repeat again and again. That's why I'm doing this. Our college students remembered twice as many apples, which do in fact rhyme with Snaple, as they did beers, which has four capital letters. Sound is the land of rote memorization. We take a name, yeah, like Edward, or a pair of words like gat, gato, and we repeat them continuously, activating the parts of our brain that connect structure to sound. Our encoder, or however it is pronounced because I don't know, is very roughly pronounced neuter. Okay, I am more neuter. Well, I am more confused now. And the more accurately we learn its pronunciation, the better we'll remember it. Eventually, our okay, I will search what it is because I just wanna know. I can't. I can't keep on this. I don't know what this is about. So, what is it? Yeah, Islandiski. Um, I was Icelandic. I am saying well in English. I don't know. And it is aguamiel in Spanish and mead in English. It seems, thanks to Google Translator. And how to pronounce this word? Let me see. Yeah, pretty difficult. Gather, gather. So eventually, our gather, or however it is pronounced, I think it is like that, will be as memorable as a familiar name like Edward. So no matter the phonetic difference or the difficulties we we think we have, doesn't matter. Okay, this is better than a structure, but it still isn't good enough for our needs. After all, many of us don't remember names very well. Yeah, in my case, that always happen. What's your name? What is your name? I'm always say that because our brains are filtering them out as quickly as they arrive. Yeah, so there are names unforgotten. There are names that we never forget, and there are names that we forget quickly because it's like a filter. Okay, we need a way to get through this filter, and we'll find it at the third level of processing: concepts. Our college students remember it twice as many tools, synonym for instruments, as apples, snaples. Concepts can be broken down into two groups: abstract and concrete. We'll begin with the abstract. If I tell you that my birthday is in June, you probably won't immediately see image of birthday cakes or and party hats. You don't need to, and as we've discussed, our brains works at the shallowest level required. It's efficient and it saves us a lot of work and distraction. Still, the date of my birthday is meaningful. If abstract concept. This makes it deeper and more memorable than poor sounds, which is why you'll have an easier time remembering that my birthday is in June than you'll have remembering that the Basque word for birthday is okay. Urteverteste. Okay. Deeper still than abstract concepts are concrete, multi-sensory concepts. If I tell you that my upcoming birthday party will take place in a paintball arena, after which we'll eat cookies and cream uh, and cream ice cream cake, and then spend the rest of the evening in a swimming pool. You will tend to remember those details much better than you will remember the months of the event. We um, prior we prioritize we prioritize to prioritize to prioritize we prioritize and store concrete concepts because they engage more of our brains, not because they are necessarily any more important than other information. In this case, it is less important that you know the details about my birthday than that you know when and where to show up. Given this phenomenon of how do we make a strange foreign word like Khodur memorable, the word itself is not the problem. We are not bad at remembering words when they are tied to concrete multi-sensory experiences. If I tell you that my email password is Khodur, you probably hopefully um, won't remember it, but because you are processing it on a sound and structural level. But if we are in a bar together and I had you a flaming drink with a dead snake in it, and tell you this Hodur you drink, you won't have any trouble remembering that word. Interesting. Yeah, that's so true. We have no problems naming things. Nouns comprise the vast majority of the 150,000 entries in Webster's First International Dictionary. It's when those names aren't tied to concrete concepts then that we run into trouble with our memories. Our goal, and one of the core goals of this book, is to make foreign words like mhodur more concrete and meaningful. Yeah, so true. So, multisensual, concrete, well, we are getting these concepts and we have to apply them into practice. Yep.